Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein back again with this week's installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you by MEOR DC. Please find us on Facebook at our page or at MEORDC.com. Learn about our programs and be in touch. Wherever you go in life, be in touch. And those words are particularly directed to the graduating class of 2015, to whom I dedicate tonight's Rabbi E in 3. 2015 graduates, Mazel Tov. All of you should have a wonderful life, blessings and goodness and success and adventure in a good way. And I mean that for everyone out there who's graduating from any program, but especially those from GW, AU, and Georgetown students with whom I've interacted. I want to give you some advice, as you'd expect from Rabbi E in 3 on graduation. Okay, how about this? As you go out into the wilderness of life, look for a mentor, people with wisdom who care about you, and follow their advice closely in life. And if you do that, you'll succeed, you'll prosper. Unfortunately, you should know that if you stray from their good advice of your wise advisor to follow some short-sighted, short-term need or desire or inclination, you might be in for some difficult times. You might bring suffering upon yourself, unfortunately, as a consequence of your own choice. But even if that should happen, don't despair, because you can always reconnect. And if that advisor loves you enough and is wise enough and long-suffering enough, as a good advisor would be, then they want to reconnect with you, and they haven't rejected the relationship wholeheartedly, even though you might have strayed. That sounds a little strange and stilted maybe for advice. I hope not, but you guessed right. There's something else going on in my words. That I just said is really the second of this week's Torah portions. You know, I have to tie in graduating advice to the Torah portion. We have two Torah portions we read this Shabbos, Behar-Bechuk, at the end of the book of Vayikra, Leviticus. And then we begin next week with Bamidbar, which means in the desert, because the fourth book of the Torah talks about the Jewish people as they wander in the as they travel in the desert. So, as you graduates go out to travel in the desert, the unknown, beyond the ivory tower walls of your campus, as you go out into the desert, you want to take to heart those lessons of Bechukosai, where God says to the Jewish people, if you follow my laws and my guidelines and listen to my voice and cling to this Torah, these instructions for life, you Jewish people collectively will enjoy blessings and prosperity in the land of Israel beyond imagination. And if you stray, it could be bad, and it will be bad. If you follow the desires of your heart and go after idols, you'll be eventually ejected from the land. But even as sufferings come upon you in exile, that does not mean, it never has mean, and never will mean that God has rejected you, has rejected us. The covenant that he made with the Jewish people is eternal, even though we might have suffered as a result of our own straying from the covenant. Okay, that's Bechukosai, and I sort of tied it into wisdom for graduates, I hope, and I got to go because it's almost 3 minutes are done. But you know what I'll end with, graduates? What we say when we finish any book of the Torah. Chazak, chazak, v'nis chazek. Be strong. Have a wonderful life and stay in touch with MEOR DC and especially with Hashem and with the Torah. Good Shabbos.